What's up, everybody? It's the Hardy Construction. You can find us at hardyconstruction.tumblr.com, youtube.com/hardyconstruction, as well as facebook.com/the Hardy Construction. With your host, Comp, and...
Jingle Bell Rock.
Merry Christmas, you scum-sucking fucks. It's the new time of the year. Whoop-de-doo, not to Danny. He stinks. He doesn't believe in Christ the Lord.
I'm a Jew.
The true
all I
Savior.
get is, all I get to do is stretch out some oil for 8 days so I don't die in the desert.
So, today's film is...
Krampus, 2015.
Krampus, 2015. A boy who has a bad Christmas ends up accidentally summoning a festive demon to his family home. A festive demon? That makes it sound like...
I mean, that kind of is what it is.
I know, but it sounds like Liberace just broke into his house and started playing piano or something. Anyway, it's...
And dancing.
Directed by... Oh, come on, don't be making fun of people like that. Anyway, directed by Michael Dougherty. Written by Todd Casey and Michael Dougherty. Starring Adam Scott, Toni Collette, David Ketchner, as well as M.J. Anthony as Max. Very good. So this film, why did you pick Krampus? Couldn't be because of where we are in this time of year, is it? I'm not sure.
You know... It just coincidentally worked out that it happened to fall on Christmas.
What a wonderful thing to happen. So this film came out in 2015.
It's a miracle on 34th Street, if I do say so myself.
This is a film that came out... Listen, there's about 150 Krampus movies that have come out. And that's what you get when you decide to base a film on a character that has no copyright on it. That's why there's so many Santa Claus movies. But it seems like... one Krampus film came and then 50 million
Krampus...
Krampus...
Doesn't Coca-Cola have the copyright on the current Santa Claus?
No, I do not think so. I think they had the look, but the look is so generic that anybody could use it. And plus, if people use Santa Claus, that it retroactively is promoting Coca-Cola anyway, so it doesn't matter. Although I think you're right about like them sort of making that, popularizing that look for him. But
they totally did.
So good for Coca-Cola on finally doing something that's healthy for the kids. Have an old man where you could sit on his lap. There's so many like Santa Claus stories. Well, you know, guys that dress up like Santa Claus in the mall and stuff, and it's just horrible.
Don't tell me they have like boners or something.
No, nothing like that. Although that'd be actually funnier than the stuff that happened recently. This guy was a Santa Claus in a mall, and he had a little kid that was, I guess, hefty and sat on his lap. And after the kid got off his lap, he told the kid to lay off the cheeseburgers, I guess, to be helpful. And then it got on the news because the kid feel. Well, listen, I understand you're gonna tell a fat kid to not eat cheeseburgers. It got on the
news. I bet it was like a clickbait. Like, you won't believe what this Santa said to this child.
But I gotta say, I mean, you know, you gotta side. Listen, I was a fat kid. Oh hell, I was a fat adult. But like, when as a kid, you just sort of want to, you know, talk to Santa Claus and that's it. You don't want to get reminded you're a bit fat fuck because I'm sure kids in school are doing. And then the news got out, so then he had to go to the hospital because he started getting like problems because he was sick. The old man playing Santa Claus, and now people were like retroactively hating on the fat kid. So it's like it doesn't work for the kid at all. Like.
That kid killed Santa. That's how
he did. He killed Christmas. That's the new story. Anyway, so Krampus. What is this film about, Daniel?
It is about a kid who basically has the Dursleys as his family that's coming to visit for Christmas, and
that kid does look like that little Dursley kid, the little heavy kid that has no. Go ahead. So continue.
So he hates his family. Well, you know, the cousins and shit.
He hates what his family has become, essentially.
Yeah, and he wishes that, you know, they'd go away or whatever, which summons this, like, demon that's supposed to, I guess, teach you the meaning of loving your family.
Appreciating what you have, sacrificing and you know, giving up time to appreciate what family means in Christmas time and the little things like that. I will say this, Michael Dougherty wrote and directed the film Trick or Treat, which came out in 2007, a film that I hear about a lot, like a modern Halloween classic, essentially. And I've always been meaning to watch it, though. I don't like to go watch anthology films, even though we've covered a lot of them. Mostly, you notice when we do anthology films,
we do random ones of the
we usually when we do it with Thea, because we kind of shit on the ones that are not good. But apparently, Trick or Treat is a huge like cult Halloween film now. And there's a main little creature that's in the film that is like really awesomely designed. And I got to say, this guy, whoever he has as art directors in his film, or if he designs stuff himself, is incredible. Like the art direction in this movie is top banana. It's fucking great. Like this film.
That's one thing I'll give this film.
Yeah, I mean the film is not perfect in any way, but I think it's a hell of a lot better than a lot of kind of Christmas themed films that are out there, so to speak. Like, you know, there's so many of those fucking movies like Valentine's Day or Christmas Morning or New Year's, you know, those sort of shitty rom-com movies. And this is leaning more towards sort of a Gremlins type of film, although it's not as
funny though.
Yeah, it's not as iconic and as fun as Gremlin is. I would say
I know where this movie went wrong. Like, I know it. And I've realized that this is a big thing in horror movies for me. Like, the music. If the music is, like, too dramatic and, like, overwhelming everything else, it could, like, ruin a movie. And this movie does it. That other one we watched did it. The one with, you know, that took place in, like, Norway or whatever. Although I like that movie.
Yeah, actually, I think... Did you like that better? I thought this was better than Rare Exports, but go ahead.
No, I liked Rare Exports better.
Okay.
But...
Was it because of the old nude men running around, or...?
Yeah, I got a thing for old nude men, but the music in that movie was too dramatic and like serious.
And
the
Krampus.
Same thing with this one. This one was going for like Christmas loving kind of drama feeling music, and it's like it's a horror movie. Like, what are you doing?
I don't think it's well, I guess what you're saying that it specifically is sort of a horror film.
There's no point where there's not music in this movie. Like,
yeah, it is a comedy horror. Honestly, I don't remember the music in the film, to be honest, besides the opening with the old kind of classic Christmas tune. So anyway, this film starts out with, you know, that Black Friday sort of people going insane, going for the presents, which apparently took one day to shoot. I like the vibe of the film, but it's just, to me, there's something missing in the film, and I can't put my finger on it. It feels like it needed another half an hour to put it on that kind of Gremlins level of fun. It's because it seems like there's a lot of characters in this film, and not a lot of them are kind of fully realized. Like, even the main kid, Max, all we know about him really is that he really believes in Christmas and Santa Claus and the feeling of Christmas, and he'll actually fight with people if they disagree with him or they talk shit about it. Which I don't really believe any kid does nowadays.
He's a future bully.
Kids his age, the kids Max age, are actually fucking their teachers. So in real life, so
that's true. He's doing better than those kids. That's true.
But yeah, so this kid is like
doing worse. It depends how you look at it.
So his father's played by Adam Scott. Tom, he was from that show. What is that show that I never watched? It was sort of like a spin-off, but not a spin-off of 30 Rock. Parks and Rec. He was in the show Parks and Rec, which starred that other blonde lady who's like duo of the lady from 30 Rock. I forget her name.
The one that was married to Joe Bluth.
You're right. And then his mother is played by Toni Collette, an actress that I know of, but I can't for the life of me, from memory of me, remember what the fuck she's been in.
Parks and Rec is actually kind of funny. I watched like one episode. And
I tried, but I can't stand that a couple of them. Like, I liked what's his name, the guy that ended up being Guardians of the Galaxy. I thought he was funny, but I couldn't stand anybody else. Like, I just could not. I
like the main lady. I just can't think of her name right now, but she's pretty funny. She's also in Arrested Development. She's like the army chick that marries Joe Bluth, but she actually was married to him in real life.
I forgot she was even in that show. There's Krista Stadler, who plays Omi, the grandmother, the paternal grandmother in this movie. There's also Conchata Ferral. You remember her from 2.5 Men, probably one of the worst sitcoms I've ever seen on television. Only worse is The Big Bang Theory. Two of the worst shows. And you know what's worse than that? I've worse than those two?
A couple of episodes.
You're out of your mind. Okay, 2.5 Men, maybe because Charlie Sheen is like, I gave them infection. Okay, very good.
But there's some funny stuff in there. He's
only
giving
show
HIV
worse
to everybody. It's great.
What about Big Bang Theory? You like that one?
I've never seen it.
The only other show that's the triumphant worse than all of that is How I Met Your Mother, which I really think if they made a gay porno version, they should call it How I Fucked Your Brother. But nobody ever came up with that. There's also
I've never actually seen that, and you know what? It could star the same cast though.
It's the worst. It's got to be the worst fucking show I've ever seen. But you know what? It's making millions of dollars and millions of people saw it. So there's also
Good for
Alison
that.
Tolman, who plays Linda, who's the aunt. And she was in the first season of the television series Fargo, and she's really fucking good in that show. That show is very good. The first 2 seasons are great, although the reveal for the second season finale had so stupid, but it
And
was
we
a
got
good show.
Todd Packer from The Office. That was pretty cool.
Which one is he? Is that David Ketchner?
David Kutch. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how to
Kutcher,
say his
however.
name. I don't know if it's David Keckner or Ketchner, but I remember
would think
David
it's Kutch.
Ketcher.
Yeah.
Remember David Ketchner mostly from Saturday Night Live because he was like in for a season. He's a comedic actor or comedian, not a comedian. He's more a comedic actor, and he's been in a lot of stuff. But for some reason, he didn't take off. But I like him for some reason. I don't know. I can't explain why.
I've only seen him playing like kind of like misogynist pig characters.
Yeah, that's basically what he does. The one thing that I remember him that made me laugh on Saturday Night Live, he was singing a version of "Waterfalls" by TLC, but it was the stupidest shit I
Okay.
ever saw. He was like, "Don't." I just won't do the joke over. Anyway, so this is the rest of the family. You really don't give a fuck about them. There's a baby and two girls that are tomboyish and a little fat kid. And anyway, so this family is they're treating each other shit. Max, obviously, I always get like bugged out or pissed off when people get bullied in films. Like it makes me feel uneasy when I watch it.
You wish you were bullying them. You wish you were the bully.
No, I was bullied. But yeah, so Max is getting bullied, and he wrote a letter to Santa, and then it all comes out where he writes this letter and he gets pissed off and he rips the letter up because his parents are actually pretty nice. I like that the mother straight off just wouldn't take shit from people. Like, she didn't take it from the aunt. She was like, basically, get the hell out of my kitchen. But anyway, the whole setup is that he rips up this letter, and because it's a white person, something important happens, that it stops the world.
Uh-huh.
It
Right.
causes a huge freeze over. And this is when the creatures of...
Demons are summoned.
Yeah, these monsters.
The gods reacted.
Essentially, the shadow of Saint Nicholas, which is Kris Kringle, obviously Santa Claus. Santa Claus is not shown in this film at all, but it is his dark half that comes out. This is from lore, Krampus lore. Let me get into it. Actually, I should have read that before I did this episode. But Krampus is a well-known lore-ish
German and
character.
Czech, right?
Yeah, he's a German. Here it goes from Wikipedia. Krampus is a horned anthropomorphic folklore figure described as half goat, half demon, who during the Christmas season punishes children who have misbehaved, in contrast with Saint Nicholas, who rewards the well-behaved kids with gifts. So essentially, he is the other half, and if you're a kid and you're rude, they'll... Because I remember in America, they usually say they'll put coal in your stockings, but this guy will steal kids and send them to hell or something, which is what this movie is more lined up with. Although on IMDb, people are saying, "Oh, they got it all wrong," so I assume those are actual Germanic people that know more about the.
Well, isn't it in Czech too? Isn't it like?
Why don't you go check it out? So yeah, so this is and it's so funny because there's also, I think Germany also has the Santa Claus where he has helpers, and they're always white guys with black face makeup. It's just
Really?
Yeah, why don't you guys give that up? It's because it's funny. Obviously they don't have the same.
Well, they got to keep some of their racist history.
I guess
I'm actually
so.
going to Germany soon, so
Since they
maybe,
couldn't- since they couldn't deal with
enlighten me.
since they couldn't deal with the other stuff, they can't legally talk about the other stuff that they did in Germany. They might as well just keep up the blackface, I guess. Although that might not be
Yeah.
in Germany, I'm not sure, but it certainly is. It is strange to see a Santa Claus out there, and then you see a couple of white guys with these goofy, fruity costumes on, but they have blackface on, and you're like, what? Can't you just hire black guys? Or although I guess black people wouldn't want to.
I don't think
do
they
that in
have
the first
those
place.
there.
They don't have them. Although, you know what I hear? I hear if you're a black dude and you go to Germany, the chicks go crazy for you because, everybody looks like a
Really?
German guy. Yeah. Dan, it's time to get a tan,
Oh.
brother.
Hey, you know what? I wish chicks would go crazy for me anyway.
I'm partially black, I guess, because I'm Hispanic, so maybe I can just go over there. And
Is that what that means?
they
You're
might
partially-
they'll just throw me into a rock quarry and dump fucking
No,
trash
your
on me.
people aren't wanted anywhere.
Very good. So anyway, the rest of the film is just Max and family freaking out by these unseen forces that do get seen later on, destroying their houses. Name some memorable stuff that I think stuck with you with this type of film, and what went wrong for you with this movie.
Well, I like the I like the overall concept of it, and the fucking, like you said, the art design was cool, and I like the ending actually. Although it seems kind of like I could see people getting pissed off the way they got pissed off at like Dark Tower or something.
Although
but,
you
like,
might get mad at the ending because the ending, apparently the ending, there was a tie-in comic officially that came out with the film, and a lot of
yeah,
people, because we might just jump, we'll jump around with what this plot does. Apparently, in the film, it's sort of left up to interpretation that maybe Max and his family are stuck in this kind of purgatory hell where they're
how was
in
it
Christmas.
left to interpretation? It seemed pretty obvious.
In the comic book, what that
Right.
or what that what is that called? The ball, what are those called?
The snow globe.
Snow globe is actually just a something for him to keep an eye on them. So they're actually still where they are. They are given a second chance, and he's just watching them. But the film doesn't specifically say that. In the comic book,
I
it
actually
does.
like the film version better.
Right, no, I like that too. So I mean, but in the comic book, apparently, what he's doing is watching them. He's watching them from afar to make sure that they stay, nice with each other, which I think takes away a little bit of the oomph. And but
Yeah,
I think
it's
is that
a horror movie. It's
and they
supposed
do
to be scary.
ask the director, and the director's sort of like mum about it. So maybe he just I guess he might have said what it is in the comic book, but wants people to have their own interpretation of what the ending is.
Yeah.
So there's those two things, but I thought that was pretty ballsy for them
I
to
like
get
how they
stuck
all
in.
kind of like seem to know that they're there, kind of, but not really. Like
Yeah,
when
and
they're
it's so
having,
funny
like,
because
memories
it's like he won't like to me the idea of Krampus getting angry at a family and putting them in hell just because they got angry with each other is completely different than people like having gang wars in the street and blowing each other up. It's it's a little bit interesting. Like you notice he doesn't affect like this won't bother a Jewish family or a Muslim family. It's just they don't have to worry about this ever of monsters attacking their house just because they disagree about something.
Only Christians have to deal with this.
There's literally like 6 other Krampus films that came out recently. There's 2 of them called Krampus Unleashed that came out this year, 2016. Krampus, The Devil Returns. This came out this year. Night of the Krampus, 2013. Krampus, The Reckoning, and Krampus, The Christmas Devil, which also came out Thursday. The posters alone for those films look so awful. I wouldn't even.
You don't think any
email
of them
to
are
people.
good? They're all like
They've
B
got all
movies.
fucking suck dick because they look more heavy metal sort of Krampus. At least this Krampus has a nice art direction to it, sort of like something that I thought was sort
Heavy
of
metal art is awesome. What do you think?
It is, but it looks like shit metal art, like just like trying too hard to be scary. Do you know what I mean?
okay.
Like they look
Yeah,
like
right.
versions of what was that fucking monster directed by that pedophile? Jeepers Creepers. It looks like that.
Oh, right.
But at least this is, I think, closer to the art style of like the one thing that was disturbing about not the one thing that was disturbing, but about Rare Exports is that it was it was German film, right? Or what was it? I forget. What
No,
kind of-
they were like Finnish. I think
Finnish
they're from
film, right?
Finland.
And it didn't sort of have an artistic style to it, look wise. Like what was that other movie we saw? Troll Hunter. Remember how the art style in that one, like
I
the
love
creatures.
Troll Hunter.
You know how that film had a very European. The design of the characters looked very European, and
Yeah.
I think it had that sort of in this. They had a sort of
Well, I
European
loved
look,
in,
but very American style.
I love the size of Krampus or I guess he was supposed to be Santa in Rare Exports. I don't know, but in any case, he was
Right, yeah,
fucking
essentially it was the
huge.
same thing
like the
because he
size
had
of a house.
horns too. Yeah, I think because he even had the same sort of thing with the kid counting down on the what is that little Christmas calendar that they have. It's
Yeah.
sort of it's very similar, but I think Krampus achieves better. But I think it's still missing something about it that would make it an instant classic, and I just can't put my
I would
finger
watch
on
Rare Exports again before I'd watch this.
it. Okay,
actually.
I mean I don't blame you. I think Rare Exports was fun, but I didn't think I just liked the art direction here more, and that's why I liked it more. And I think it had pretty solid directing to it. So with this film, I think what we're basically dealing with is this family. They're all they're mostly shitty to each other for the first 14 minutes, and then once crap happens, they're sort of okay with each other. So that's sort
well,
of
the guy David Koechner does pull a gun on.
yeah, he does. He does pull it on the
dad.
father Tom, right? But you understand that because he's looking he wants his kid. So I mean, the guy had lost his kid as well. So I mean, it is essentially like slasher stuff where people get pulled out left and right, and I think the general performances by all the actors are pretty good. I think it seems like I said, like what I'm thinking is that it's just a half an hour of character building that just disappeared in making in this film that you kind of want these characters. It's sort of like once the stuff happens, they're sort of on this hurtling sort of freeway where now they just have to worry about finishing the storyline instead of making it sort of memorable.
I keep comparing it in my head. Like, I know I keep saying Rare Exports.
Go ahead. No, please do.
I'm thinking about that, the way that movie was directed, and like it was so much more like minimal and like.
Right.
This is an American movie. This is like all the things that are bad about American movies is like in this movie that makes me not like it.
Go ahead, say what it is. What it is.
It's like the music, everything's like so like nonstop, like dramatic. There's not enough character development.
Okay.
Like they don't understand what vibe they're going for exactly.
Yeah, there was better character development in Rare Exports than there was in this. They're
kind of like scared to like push it too much. Like you could tell, like, because I mean, honestly, if there was like a fucking demon, even in a comedy kind of movie, like it's gonna like probably kill people. And
but the thing is
like,
that
it's not horror enough for me.
It's like a
quasi something.
The thing that I liked more about this than Rare Exports is that you actually do see Krampus in this film, as opposed to them sort of building up Santa Claus. Oh, let's not kill it. Let's just blow him off camera. Oh, okay. We never got the final monster at the end of the film. It was sort of teasing with that film, and I'm pretty sure there was. Agree. So that's two things that I sort of. It's like, unfortunately, but it's because we've seen these films back to back essentially.
If if they both collaborated and took the best of this movie and the best of that movie, it would be a really good movie.
It would be all the older male leads in this film running around with their genitals. I mean, was that a film marketed for kids, like Rare Exports? Like Rare Exports, if nobody's seen it, it's a movie where essentially the last half they're fighting these sort of their elves versions of older men that are nude running around, running after people. And it's like, was that like sold for kids? Like, who was that movie for? Because I wouldn't take my kids.
Well, European people maybe aren't as like.
Uptight about it. I get it, but it's just like I wouldn't be interested in watching cocks flopping around for 2 hours myself, unless there's some sort of reason.
I love to watch old man cock.
But anyway, with this film, I think the main kid Max is likable enough. Like, he's not offensive or anything like that. He doesn't come off as annoying to me. I don't know. Everybody else in the film is sort of annoying. The little two shithead sisters and the little brother of theirs they're all. Yeah. Everybody here is a complete stereotype, like a cut out sort of character from a comic book, and that's why they're sort of shitty, and they're all annoying.
There's no character development.
And I think they want you to want all these characters to die, but I don't really care about any of them enough to die. Like, essentially, I was like, well, I hope everybody makes it out okay. I mean, it's just
literally the only character I liked was Aunt Dorothy.
Oh, okay, because she was such a she didn't give a shit about anybody. Yeah, I didn't feel strongly about anybody in this film, and I felt bad because, like, Adam Scott he's an okay guy, I guess, actor in real life, but because he was on Parks and Rec, and Parks and Rec has that sort of smarmy, look how funny I am sort of comedy to it. That's why sort of, like, he has a stink on him for me, at least. And but I liked him in this film, at least, because he's a very good dramatic actor, too, because he was acting really well in this film, and he was sort of milquetoast. Everybody was sort of milquetoast in this film.
They were all playing, like, generic, feel-good Christmas versions of what people would be.
So when they're getting taken by these monsters, it really didn't give a shit. That's the problem. I didn't care about anybody getting killed in this film. But let's get into the monster designs. The monster designs are incredible. The only one that I didn't think was the best design was probably that little teddy bear, but even that looked good for what it was.
I like the gingerbread guys.
The gingerbread guys look good. The only problem is, like, Shrek probably made the most recognizable gingerbread sort of cartoon character, even though, like, gingerbread look is essentially, they all look sort of the same. They're really good in here, and they're funny, just the way that they act. And also, I love the Jack in the Box. The face of it, it's like, because they use sort of these old European sort of designs for the faces, so it looks like they're wearing theater masks, but then the mouths open up like a alien or something. And then there's that little cherub, that flying creature with the doll face. That looks like amazing.
I remember that. Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it was like flying around attacking people, and they're like trying to kill everybody. Yeah, that one was
pretty cool.
Actually. I think that's what I think is the strength of this film, is the art design, and I think it's competently directed. It's just that the writing is sort of not altogether well done. I mean, it is for setting up what it does, and for the last half an hour, I think there's not enough for you to give a shit about anybody in this film. But if you're here to watch the art like a really well done art design for a film, this is it. Like, this movie looks beautiful. It's shot
Yeah.
really well. It's directed very well. But the problem is the story sort of falls apart, and not falls apart, but it just kind of follows the numbers. That's what I meant to say. Do you
Right.
what's like the most negative part for you besides the music and the is that pretty much what you
I
stated?
know that the music is the most negative part for me.
Yeah, I didn't even remember the music, so I guess that shows you how much I gave a shit about the music in this film. It's just the look of it. If you want to have like art porn, this is it. It's not art porn in the sense of like Suspiria. It's more art porn where if you like looking at the windows at like big malls and Christmas and stuff like that, like
Yeah, it's
Macy's
got
or
that.
something. If you love like beautifully crafted imagery, this has it. But I think it's okay for what it is. It's a fun sort of, I think this could be a good like sort of Christmas watching film. Like obviously you'd rather see Gremlins and A Christmas Story on Christmas than you would see this. Um,
Yeah.
but
Die Hard.
yeah, Die Hard, right? And is there any Christmas movies that came out? Was there is anything else that came out? Clown House wasn't a Christmas movie.
Trading Places.
There you go. So those are the type of films you want to see. Notice that those were all in the '80s, and everything else has been shit. But other than that, I would give this movie I would give it a 7 out of 10. I was gonna give it a 6, but I'll give it a 7 out of 10 just for the look of it. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Um, your kids all getting sucked into the giant ass of a monstrous Jack in the Box.
Okay, I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. Not being particularly concerned that your teenage daughter went missing and that there's now like supernatural demons outside. Like you're a little concerned, but not too concerned.
And with that, Danny, what's the final word?
Blagumba.
The horror deconstruction.